my dear, ringing in my ear.
Previously on Mr. Cthulhu's at the Movies of Madness.
That wasn't the only murder. Both of them had their heads chopped off.
Hey, kid! He's a vampire.
It's homicide.
He's a vampire. Look, Lieutenant!
Charlie, this is our next door neighbor, Jerry Dandrige.
Deserve to die, boy.
I believe in vampires.
And are you sure that this is holy water? You're finally convinced I'm not a vampire, are you?
He didn't cast a reflection in my mirror.
There are no such things as vampires, fruitcake!
What are we going to do?
What are you gonna do? Not me.
I say not.
Oh, you're so cool, Brewster.
Greetings, fellow monster. Fuck it. Let's just dive straight back in. When we last seen our heroes, Amy and Charlie, they were running into a club away from Jerry Dandrige the vampire.
Doesn't believe me.
I'm scared, Charlie. I'm really scared.
I am not going to let him get you, Amy.
Don't make promises you can't keep, Charlie. Anyway, Dandrige follows Amy and Charlie into the club. Let the good times roll. Mr. Jerry Dandrige, ladies and gentlemen. Smooth, suave, and goddamn cheesy. He uses his vampiric shining to seduce Amy. Hypnosis is an easy trick that all vampires can achieve.
Walk to the door. Mina, you are in the closet.
Dandrige has me and Amy trapped in this club downtown.
In one last-ditch attempt, Charlie calls Peter Vincent for help, but he's far too petrified to even move.
No one knows what's going on.
Remember that bitchin' 80s club I was talking about at the end of part 1? Alas, let the dance-off commence.
I wanna
I'm sorry, I couldn't help myself. Anyway, cue Charlie running to the rescue.
Filthy son of a bitch!
Oh, God. Shouldn't lose your temper, Charlie. It isn't polite.
Dandrige tells Charlie that he doesn't want to kill him, and challenges him to a face-off, telling him to come to his house later to rescue Amy. And then this happens.
Let her go! I got him. Come on. Mine.
You want chicken, man, you go someplace else. You want chicken, man, you go someplace else.
Dandrige makes his escape with Amy out of the club. Charlie follows them, but instead of going straight after them, he goes to try and convince Peter Vincent one last goddamn time. Come on, man.
Come on! Peter, we don't have very much time. Dandrige chased me and Amy all over town. Look, Dandrige has Amy! He says he's gonna kill her unless we come to his house.
Oh my God. The police. I'll call the police.
No, Peter, no! They won't believe you. I've tried. Peter, it's just us.
Peter fesses up to Charlie that he didn't believe any of this nonsense, and that he was paid to be there.
Vincent! The great vampire killer!
That is a character in a movie!
Peter finally confesses that he's scared shitless.
I'm terrified. I'm sorry, Charlie, but I am.
Are you a faithless preacher? Or are you a mean motherfucking servant of God?
Meanwhile, let's have a change of pace. Fuck it. Fast forward. Alright, that's more like it. Okay, so he's tried to make it a little romantic. He's got an open fire, but I personally prefer it a little more raw. Charlie finally gave Peter the confidence to do battle with the faces of evil.
Peter Vincent, ready to do battle with the undead.
And this time he's finally got his box of goodies.
Let's see, flashlight, stakes, hammer, yes, cross.
Charlie asks Peter how they're going to deal with Billy Cole. Peter says, well, the guy walks around in the daytime. He's got to be human, right? Anyway, they break into the house and ascend the stairway.
Welcome to Fright Night.
There's your trailer money shot right there.
For real.
Back, spawn of Satan.
Even though Peter knows for real that the guy's a vampire, his cross still has no effect, as his faith is still not strong enough.
Stop!
But of course, by now, Charley has plenty of fucking faith.
You're gonna make it?
Great vampire killer, my ass. For some reason, he runs across the street to Charley's mom's house. I never really understood why, but I'm glad he does, because there's a special guest waiting.
Mrs. Brewster. Thank God the phone wires have been cut. Where is Charley's mother?
Oh, well, apparently she's working nights. But she left a note. Here's dinner's in the oven.
Man, I fucking love this guy. After Ed Boo scares Peter out the room, something unexpected and awesome happens. Big deal. You think that's scary, you should see my protector, my wolfhound. I warn you, it's pretty terrifying. Behold, this is Dexter. And yes, he was named after the serial killer. Terrifying. Ed, now transformed into a vampire-werewolf hybrid thing, crawls onto the stairs to retreat.
You saw me standing alone. Jesus Christ! Without a dream. What? God! What? I'm burning up!
I gotta say it again, these effects are fucking amazing. This is 1985, remember?
Okay, who brought the dog?
And there goes my favorite character of the film, having no doubt what is a fucking excruciating and painful death. Poor bastard. He just wanted to have fun. Another vampire taken in his prime. Or whatever. Anyway, back in Dandrige's house, he throws Charley into the room with Amy.
Here. You're gonna need it just before dawn.
What have you done to her?
Geez, I wonder.
Amy?
Surprise! Back to Peter Vincent. Does he finally have the nutsack to go in there and face Dandrige once and for all? I hope so. Peter finally plucks up the courage to enter the house. He busts down the door Charley's being held captive in. Because Amy's been turned, they deem it safer to leave her in the room, and they go on the hunt for a vampire cunt.
Well, what do we have here? Vampire killers?
Stop, or I'll shoot.
Peter seems to have no problem executing a person he deemed human.
And Clark was human, huh? Which makes you a murderer, don't it?
Nope, it doesn't make him a murderer, because Billy Cole is also undead, like some kind of ghoul or zombie, I guess. how much smoke does that gun make? I mean, look, seriously, it's just for dramatic effect. Billy grabs Peter and tries to throw him over the banisters, but Charley stabs him in the fucking heart. And then we're treated to some more amazing effects. So, who's hungry? I fancy Chinese. Peter rushes in to check on Amy. And she appears to be doing just fine. He locks her in the room, and then the main man comes out to play.
Oh, yeah!
You have to have faith for that to work, Mr. Vincent.
And finally, at last, Peter eventually has faith. To make matters worse for Dandrige, the obvious matte painting behind them shows that dawn is approaching. Oh, and of course, all the fucking clocks.
Out of time, Mr. Dandrige. Look over your shoulder.
Look at this thing. I love it. Anyway, Peter fights the good fight and manages to hold the nasty motherfucker off. It scratches the shit out of Peter, and it manages to bite Charley on the arm. Ouchie. There's something about this movie that's just insanely fucking cool. Anyway, our characters follow the son of a bitch into the basement to end it once and for all. Hubba hubba, vampire nips.
Oh!
Count Dracula sleeps in this coffin, but rises every night at sunset. Chick is right. This is awful silly stuff. Dracula.
Don't you want me anymore?
Jesus, Charley, what are you, gay? She's way hotter than before.
It's not my fault, Charley.
You one ugly motherfucker.
While the BJ Queen is attacking Charley, Peter finds Dandridge's coffin.
Oh my God! So much blood!
Because Dandrige is such a badass mofo, a stake through the heart doesn't even stop him. Charley just about manages to fight off Amy long enough to help Peter. And let there be light. Lots of it. Dandrige makes a break for it and tries to return to his coffin.
Ain't they supposed to burn up or something?
Finally, Jerry Dandrige, the vampire, meets his maker in a fantastic effects-filled fireball. Well, maybe he made it. He might be okay. Maybe. After an undisclosed amount of time has passed, Amy and Charlie seem back to normal and are watching Fright Night on TV.
I thought I'd let the vampires rest for a little while. Right, Charlie. Tonight, the threat comes not from beyond the grave, but from beyond the stars. As alien beings stalk an unwary summer camp in Mars, once flesh. I do not star in it.
Wait a goddamn minute. Somebody's lying here. That's not the name of the film. And it's not the name of the film according to this other film.
The attack of the octopus people.
Charlie, is something wrong?
Nothing.
Oh, you're so cool, Brewster!
So that was Fright Night, and I have to admit, it's definitely on my top 20 all-time favorite list. For horror, anyway. It just resonates with me. It has everything I want. Comedy, horror, the characters, the effects, the story, the lighting, the sound, the music, everything. It's one I always go back to. It cost $7 million to make and grossed nearly $25 million at the box office, which is pretty goddamn good. For 1985 anyway. Over the years, though, it's gained much more of a cult status. It was commercially successful enough to spawn a sequel in 1988, which was okay, but still not a patch on the original. It has its merits, but I don't mind the sequel. It's good to see the characters again, at least Peter and Charlie, but I don't like where they take the story. I would much prefer watching the original. And then in 2011, they released the remake. It was an unneeded and unasked-for remake. I mean, as a film, it's mediocre at best. This is one horror film that didn't need to be revamped. And in 2013, they released a piece of shit straight-to-DVD sequel to that, which I'm not even going to talk about. What I will talk about, though, is this year a Kickstarter-funded fan film based on the making of Fright Night is being released. It looks fucking awesome. If you like this movie at all, I urge you to go and see this. When it's released anyway. It looks amazing. Anyway, that's all I got time for today. Thanks for watching. I really do appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe. Once again, I have been your host, Mr. Cthulhu. I'll see you on the next episode of...
We all go a little mad sometimes.